Just a test.
You're good.
Good?
Yep.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Great.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Sunshine Law. Notice of time, date, and place has been furnished to the Bergen Record and the Ridgewood News. Notice has also been posted on the bulletin board of the Administration Building. Will the interim administrator kindly take the roll?
Mayor Giordano.
Here.
Ms. Sarcola.
Here.
Mr. Ritchie.
Here.
Mr. Schatz.
Here.
Mr. Shalera.
Here.
Mrs. Weber.
Here.
Everyone kindly rise for Pledge Allegiance. Let us have a moment of silence for all our war veterans and all veterans across our country who have given the ultimate sacrifice so that we can be free to assemble the way we are tonight. Will the interim administrator please say the prayer?
Dear Lord, grant us your guidance and wisdom. Let this meeting be conducive to unity and fairness. May our actions reflect the agenda to assist our borough's needs, not our personal goals and needs. In his name, amen.
Amen. Tonight, the mayor and council are honoring three people. Two of them are from the DPW who retired, or one retired already, and one is retiring in 8 days. And the other one is a member of the Waldeck Volunteer Fire Department who is celebrating his 50th years of service to the fire department. First, we would like to honor William Billy Schmidt and present him with a proclamation. The proclamation reads, whereas William Billy Schmidt retired from the Waldeck Department of Public Works effective January 31st, 2003, and whereas Billy has faithfully served the borough of Waldeck and its citizens since April 14, 1980, during which period of time he worked on many projects such as sewer and lawn maintenance, tree work, snow plowing, borough leaf removal, and paving programs, to name a few. And whereas these 43 years of service has been marked by dedication to the best interest of the community, and Billy has worked constantly for the betterment of the public works system, which contributes to the health, safety, and comfort of our community. And whereas the borough of Waldeck has benefited greatly because of Billy's training and education in all aspects of our Department of Public Works. And whereas Billy served his country proudly in the United States Air Force, Airman First Class, receiving an honorable discharge on December 23, 1977. And whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Waldeck and all its residents thanks Billy for his service to our country, protecting our freedom and our rights as Americans. On behalf of the entire Borough Council and the Borough of Waldeck, we wish you well on your retirement as you begin a new chapter in your life. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Thomas Giordano, Mayor of the Borough of Waldeck, on behalf of the entire Borough Council and the community, do hereby extend to Billy Schmidt our thanks, appreciation for his years of unending service to our community. Dated May 9th, 2023. Our next person that will be retiring in 8 days is Barry Ackerman. Whereas Barry Ackerman retired from the Waldeck Fire Department of Public Works effective May 17, 2023. Whereas Barry started his employment with the Borough of Waldeck through the CEDAR program. Barry has faithfully served the Borough of Waldeck and his residents since July 5, 1982, during which period of time Barry served with tireless efforts and with distinction. Whereas Barry has been a credit to the Borough of Waldeck, having always displayed an attitude of loyalty and diligence to duty, and whereas these 41 years of service has been marked by dedication to the best interests of the community, working constantly for the betterment of the public works system, which contributes to the health, safety, and comfort of the community. And whereas Barry has worked in all aspects of the Public Works Department, including sewer and lawn maintenance, tree work, snow plowing, borough leaf removal, and paving program, to name a few. Whereas Barry has been responsible for opening, closing, and maintaining our town pool, and has been credited to its beauty and success in the future and always now. The people of Waldwick will be always proud to go into a Waldwick pool knowing that Barry Ackman was the one that made it possible. Whereas Barry is also a member of the Waldwick Volunteer Fire Department, he worked his way up the ranks, serving as chief of the department from 2002, 2003, and 2004, making sure that the borough and residents are protected, safe, and receive the highest level of service. On behalf of the entire Borough Council and the Borough of Waldwick, I want to express our sincere appreciation to Barry for his dedication and hard work to the Borough of Waldwick and to all its residents for over 41 years, and wish him much happiness and success, and wish him good luck as he begins a new chapter of his life. And we wish you well, Audrey, because you're going to be stuck with him for a very long time now. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Thomas Giordano, Mayor of the Borough of Waldwick, on behalf of the entire Borough Council and community, do hereby extend our deepest thanks and appreciation for your years of service, which was unending to our borough. May 9th, 2023. Thank you very much. Thank you. Tonight, I am honored on behalf of the Town Council to honor a dedicated and devoted member of the Waldwick Volunteer Fire Department who is celebrating 50 years of service to our community, Tommy Pinkham. Tommy joined the Waldwick Fire Department in July of 1973. He became a member of the Fire Department Exempt Association in 1984 and a life member of the State Association in 1990. Tommy became a second lieutenant, working his way up to the ranks as chief of the department in 1990. In 2010, Tommy was the recipient of the Waldwick Fire Department's Chief Award. Tommy is an active member of the fire department still to this day. He still responds to fire calls and drives the apparatus. He is respected and admired by the rank and file who looks up to him for his guidance. On weekends, you will find Tommy at company number 2 doing truck maintenance. He's very active still, and he always takes an interest in the upkeep of our trucks. Tommy never got involved in the politics of the fire department. He never speaks badly about anyone, and he always minds his own business and just does what he loves to do, be a volunteer firefighter, caring to serve with his heart. I read in Firefighter magazine that the heart of a firefighter is a heart of compassion. It is a heart of giving. A heart wants to save lives. It is a heart with a yearning to produce meaningful acts on behalf of society. A firefighter's heart fills itself with raw courage, and at every moment when courage is most needed. A heart that will make the ultimate sacrifice to do the right thing. A heart that accepts the burdens of an entire community in its worst moments. A heart that says, yes, I will take your burden on my shoulder. I will, in all humility, be your hero. A heart is willing to place his or her body in incredible physical demands so that they can protect their neighbors. A firefighter's heart will always beat for others and will never stop caring for those in need. Tommy Pinkham is that firefighter. He has a heart that cares, understands, protects, sacrifices, and loves. Tommy, on behalf of myself, as your friend, and also as the mayor, please accept this plaque for your 50 years of service to our fire department and the place we all call home, Waldwick. I'd like to read you what the plaque says. It says, honoring 50 years of service, 1943 to 2003, firefighter Thomas Pinkham. Thank you for your loyal and dedicated service to the Walden Volunteer Fire Department and to the borough and residents of Walden. Never forget the difference you make every day. You are greatly appreciated. Mayor Tom Giordano and Walden Borough Council.
Real quick, if I could, my thanks to the mayor and council for recognizing me. My thanks to the members for putting up with me. My thanks to my wife for allowing me. Have a great day.
We're going to take a minute break to congratulate Billy, Barry, and also Tommy. And then we'll rejoin our meeting. Under my report, just a couple of items.
Just give it a second.
Skipping over the rest.
We just-
No, it's not under your report. We're at public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At this time, we're going to be having a public hearing. Would the clerk kindly read?
So we're just.
It's going to be, this is going to be a public comment or public hearing.
It's a public hearing on the submission of the 2023 Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund Municipal Program for Park Development Funding Application for the Lions Club Memorial Playground at Borough Park, Block 154, Lot 34, 217 Pine Street in Waldwick. Before we open it up to the public, Matt is going to give you an overview of the project and the cost.
As we discussed at previous meetings, the Lions Park Memorial Playground is at the end of its useful life, and renovations do need to take place. Before we get to the Open County Bergen Space portion of it, we have applied and received $70,000 from the NJDCA Recreation Grant, so those funds will be able to be used as well as this grant. The engineer's estimate to completely renovate the new park, make it ADA accessible, put in brand-new playground equipment, pavers, fencing, benches, trash receptacles, came in at $570,000. You see that number? It jumps out as you would think very high, but let's break it down a little bit to lower that number. Within that $570,000, we have $30,000 of optional fencing, so that may not be required. As well, we have contingencies of about $40,000. So if those weren't needed, you're already looking at the project about, $500,000. We're going to apply based on this estimate. So I will apply by the end of the week to the Bergen County Open Space for $285,000. If we were to get that $285,000 and chose to spend the entire amount, then we would have to match 50% of the cost. Thankfully, the $70,000 from NJDCA would go to our portion. So if we did spend the full $570,000, $215,000 would be the portion the borough would have to match. But the county might not come back to give us that full amount. They might come back and offer us $200,000, in which case the borough would have to put up $130,000 in that case. Or let's say possibly they only came back and gave us $100,000, but the park's still going to cost $500,000. How would we get to that amount? We could possibly do what we did with Ted Bell a couple years ago, or apply for a second grant next year, and it wouldn't really affect the timing of the park being built, because I would envision this project taking place towards the end of 2024. So in conclusion, the park definitely is in need of renovations. I don't think that is up for debate at this point. It's over 30 years old. We do have some grant funding in place, and I'm open to hear feedback from not only the council but the public, as this is a public hearing to discuss this application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This time, I open up to the public. Anybody from the public would like to comment or ask questions from what Matt just said? No? Okay. Would the clerk kindly read Resolution 2023-179?
Can I read it by title, or do you want me to read
By
the whole
title.
thing? Thank you. Resolution 2023-179, endorsement of the submission of the Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund grant application for park development at the Lions Club Memorial Playground at Borough Park.
Do you have a motion and a second? Motion, Mr. Scalero, second by Mr. Ritchie. Anyone on the question? I just want to say, I was there on Saturday, and that park really does need to be uplifted. And I know you mentioned about the fencing, but that was a little bit of an issue for a lot of residents, that the fencing, parks need a water, and I think the fencing would be
Yeah,
suitable.
I'm not saying no to the fencing.
Right,
I'm
right.
just saying that's to do the upgrades
Right.
is an option. That's all I was trying to
Well, I
stress.
think that would
Certainly,
be very important.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else? Clerk, take the roll.
Ms. Saracola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Scalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Okay. On the committees, under my report, a couple of items. First of all, I would like to thank Stan Kowalski and the 5K committee and the Chamber of Commerce for doing, once again, a great job at the 5K and 1 mile walk. It was a great success, a beautiful day. We didn't have to worry about the rain. Many walkers, many runners, and I think they broke the record of how many people were there. They did a great job, as always. Also, I would like to thank the people of who took care of Earth Day, Mark Raimondo and the Beautification Committee and the Green Team. They did a great job educating the public about certain items. And also, we have our bee man, Mr. John Vavor, gave a nice little talk about bees, and I learned a lot of lessons about bees, which I'll talk to John about later. On Saturday, I'm having our monthly mayor's meeting, and thanks to Don Shalero, we're bringing in the Director of Shared Services for the county to talk to the mayors about how we could, have other ways in which we could share our services. Also, I would like to congratulate Tristan Tacconi, who qualified to compete at the United States Gymnastics National Championship that will be held in Oklahoma City starting tonight until the 14th. Only 12 athletes in Tristan's age group from the region, which consists of 7 states, qualified, and Christian qualified in the 9th spot. He will be competing against other top 18-year-old gymnasts from all 50 states to qualify for the opportunity to compete on the 2022 United States Level 10 Junior National Team. This is a great accomplishment for him and also for our school system. That's all I have right now. Financial and Administrative Committee, Mr. Shalero.
Thank you, Mary. Nothing on our financial, just want to echo what you said. It was a great weekend for the borough between the 5K. A little too crowded, so I'm probably not going to run next year. Kidding, Stan. But no, a nice day, great event, with so many volunteers that make it happen. Really was perfect. Earth Day, I was only there for part of it, but there were a lot of good volunteers out in the park, a lot of good information. So just an overall great weekend. That's all I have.
Thank you. Fire and Police Protection Committee, Ms. Siricola.
Thank you, Mayor. I was also at the 5K, had a great time as usual, flawless execution. Great job, everyone. So moving on to the police department, we don't have a report this meeting. For the fire department, the month of April, they responded to 25 calls of service, 6 of them being mutual aid. To date, the fire department has responded to 75 calls for service for the year. On 4/25, they responded to a small fire inside of a cargo container being pulled by a train. Our units operated for an hour and a half on the scene until the county hazmat and NJ Transit released them. As far as drills, with the warmer months, they took time to be outside and had members practicing their skills of roof venting from the bucket of truck 641. They took the junior members out and refreshed the proper way to attach to a fire hydrant to establish city water. Members took a Thursday night to review the new airbag system for our 642 and a new hose pack for our extended pack bundles. These bundles are for our larger buildings, the Bristol, the station, etc. The department also had the honor of attending the 5K this past Sunday and flying the flag over the runners and walkers as they competed in the event. The fire department also held its first annual membership drive at the Waldeck High School on April 20th to try to get students to join the fire department. So if you know anybody, please refer them. And this year, ex-chief Thomas Pinkham celebrated 50 years of dedicated service as he was just honored tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Mrs. Sherman is not here, but she gave me a report to read. Warvac was very excited and grateful that the 2 Lucas machines have arrived. The members of Warvac participated in a practical training session that was presented by Stryker. They plan on training often so that everyone is proficient to the point of it being second nature to them. The members provided standby service for the Waldwick 5K. April's run report, 36 total calls answered by 22 members. 1 member responded to 13 of those calls. 35 calls were 911 and 1 was a standby. 28 calls were responded to in less than 5 minutes. Calls range in age from 1 to 99. 3 calls were at the Bristol in the month of April. Total calls for the year at the Bristol is 20. Holy Name, 2. Newbridge Medical Center in Bergen, 2. Valley Hospital, 27. Councilman Sherman also extends her thanks and gratitude to the members of Warvac that is always out there protecting our community. Recreation and Health Committee, Mrs. Weber.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to, pardon me, say thank you for everyone that participated in Earth Day and, of course, the 5K on Sunday. It was a wonderful event. I was able to attend both with my family. The Waldwick, I just wanted to mention, Waldwick Baseball and Softball Association's in full swing. Both my daughters play, and they love it. And the beloved snack stand is reopened this year, which, of course, my kids love as well. I've been Venmoing them money like crazy. Thank you for all the parents involved with making Waldwick baseball and softball so successful. Just a few reminders, Waldwick Pool registration is opened, and the pool painting project is coming along great, thanks to the DPW and the Waldwick High School Art Department. The library program has programs for all ages, from adult bingo on May 25th, to meditation with Mark on May 30th, to Graphics Con this Thursday, May 11th. This event is for grades 1 and up, and the event is to celebrate graphic novels or comic strip type novels. The Waldwick Swim Club registration is opened until June 9th. The American Legion is hosting a clothing and shoe drive this Saturday, collecting clothes and accessories and household items at the American Legion at 46 Franklin Turnpike between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And save the date, of course, for the 15th annual Waldwick Community Alliance Car Show, which is always great. That's going to be on June 4th. And the Waldwick Concert Series will be starting on June 7th at Borough Park with the Community Band of Waldwick. The health report. May is Mental Health Month, and Bergen County last week on May 3rd held a stigma-free symposium, which I was able to attend. Marks 10 years since Bergen County became stigma-free. One of the speakers was Carly Bushhoven. She gave a presentation on destructive perfectionism. Carrie spoke about her sister, Madison, battle with depression and perfectionism. After Maddie's suicide, the Madison Holleran Foundation was started. Their primary mission is to prevent suicides and assist those in a crisis situation with phone numbers and resources that will assist them during their time of crisis. The foundation focuses on efforts on preparing high school seniors and college freshmen, since they can be very difficult transition period, as it was for Madison and many college freshmen. For more information, you can find at the MadisonHolleranFoundation.org. And the next Board of Health meeting will be on Thursday, May 18th, in this room at 7:30 p.m. Also, I was able to attend the Board of Ed meeting last night. The entire board was in attendance. They did the Teacher of the Year Awards, which they haven't done in a few years. Mrs. Carey, the kindergarten teacher, was honored at Crescent School. Ms. Teresa Clapp, the preschool teacher at Traphagen. The 7th grade reading teacher, Ms. Nicole Magner at the Waldwick Middle School. And the Waldwick High School was Mrs. Margaret Kabajian for special services. The budget was passed last night, the 2023-2024 budget, at just about $40 million. And the Carnival Lions Club issue, there's no resolution at this time. And that finishes my report.
Thank you. Public Works Committee, Mr. Ritchie.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks, Michelle, for the help on the Board of Ed for going last night. So I had a chance to connect with the Superintendent of Public Works. So the update on the water main repair down by the Bristol went very well. You know, the fact that they had to turn off the water to the Bristol ended up not being a major issue, and it went very, very smoother than they thought. Phase 2 of that project will take place this week. Should be a lot easier than the first phase, a lot shorter, and I think the water will be shut off for a much shorter period of time. It's been an all-hands-on-deck kind of teamwork getting the pool ready. They've been basically spending most of their time getting the pool prepared for opening on Memorial Day. It's the first time in a while that they've taken on painting and kind of getting that ready, but evidently it looks really, really nice, nicer than it has in years. So I think the folks who have been involved with the DPW are happy to have done that. I guess they're getting ready to paint the W into the pool
Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock to start.
Okay, good. So that's one of the final pieces of the painting there. You know, in addition to that, just kind of a lot of spring cleaning, basin work, cutting the grass, but most of the work has been that water main in the pool. So that's my.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And in regards to the painting, what they're going to do also is all the doors that go in and out of the bathrooms and all the areas there, they're gonna paint fishes on it. And all the walls that have just regular paint on it, they're gonna try to do some type of designs on it. They're gonna try to make the whole theme tropical, which is nice. It's the art class, and then at a later date, I'll probably go to their graduation and honor them for what they did for the community. And I want to thank Eric Laporta, who brought this up on Facebook one day. And, you know, you thanked us and praised us to do it. And we had a lot of negative remarks, which is not really right. Because, you know, don't worry about spending money. You know, you have to worry about spending money, but you also got to do the right thing. And these students are doing the right thing for us. So instead of them worrying about, you know, who's going to pay for this and what about the water and everything, they should just be thankful that things are being done to make our town look beautiful. Thank you, Eric. Building and Grounds Committee, Mr. Schatz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a talk with the interim administrator today, and we went through some of the buildings and the things that were on. First of all, the first thing I was going to talk about was the pool, but that's already been talked about. I stopped by there on Saturday and talked to the DPW, and they explained that they finished the sides on Saturday, and Sunday they were going to finish the bottom. It looked very good for what they were doing, and they were happy they were getting it done, and they had the beautiful weather to work with. They didn't have the rain, which really put the deterrent on trying to paint a pool. And then, as you said, the W is going in tomorrow. The parking lot out here next to our building is they basically have finished the lot for the most part. They ordered and they've planted the 19 new trees over here on the side that they were putting in. They also are getting a price for a sprinkler system to put in, and that'll be done fairly quickly also. We're also going to get another price for seal coat the parking lots, the old parking lot, and restripe the old parking lot as well over by the police department. PSE&G is still finishing up their lighting changes at the Company 2 and also at Walvac. I think they're doing that today. And if you want to ask anything about that, that's probably, talk to Matthew about that. He probably knows all about that. Also, we're awarding Boswell Engineering today, I believe tonight, to design the bridge over at the HVAC Park. Also, I attended a planning board meeting 2 weeks ago, a special meeting in which they approved the redevelopment plan that the council's trying to push forward. And I also attended a planning board meeting last week, which was for, they only had 2 resolutions passed. I also attended this weekend, the BCOA had its hazardous waste day down at the DPW, and they were collecting wood, painted wood, and also had a shredder out there as well. So I was very happy to see that. I think we set that up specially for our municipality.
Correct.
And then they do quarterly cleanups as well. I think the next one's in June 2nd, I believe, down up at Mawa. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Our interim administrator, Borough Clerk Kelly.
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Grant Administrator, Matt.
No report, but during new business, I have some purchasing information to
Good.
share with the council.
Our Borough Attorney, Craig.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, the assessor gave me the list of the county appeals. We have very few county tax appeals this year. I'll work with her in trying to get some of them resolved, and, you know, we'll have the hearings on those later this month. But there's very, very few, so that's all.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The interim administrator now would like to report as the clerk.
Well, I do wear 2 hats. So just wanted to remind those members of the board who did not complete their financial disclosure statement to do that in a timely manner so that they do not obtain a fine for not complying. Elections are in full gear right now. Tatiana and I attended the board worker training class last Friday. We are using the new voting machines moving forward, so this is our first go with that. And then yesterday we attended training, clerk training for those on the same machines with a little bit more detail for this June primary. It's all new equipment. The board workers, they're training them. They're doing a really good job. I feel that this is much easier to vote on. It's a lot, there's just a lot of safeguards. So I was very pleased with it. I hadn't used it before, so this was the first go-around, and we're happy with it. We're doing some things for our board workers to make it even easier for them on the day of the election. May 16th is the last day to register to vote in the June primary, and my office will be open until 8 p.m. that night. And for those who do early voting, that'll be June 2nd through 4th. The Friday and Saturday is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The mail-in ballot drop box, which is behind the police station here, is open for those who use mail-in ballots. You can simply put them in that drop box. One thing that I did learn, and I think I did talk about this last time with the poll pads, to assist the voter check-in process to make it even quicker, if you bring your sample ballot, they can scan that, and then you just move on to the next station. So I would just encourage people to do that. I do have that on in the Friday email blast, and I'll also be putting it on the website just to remind people. Save the date for, the Memorial Parade and Ceremony, May 29th. And online pool registration is open, as well as swim team and the swim lessons, which was announced. Thank you.
Thank you. Consent resolutions and resolutions of the governing body.
Be it resolved that the following resolutions herewith listed by consent, having been considered by the governing body of the Borough of Waldwick, are hereby passed and approved. 2023-180, approval of consent. 2023-181, approval of minutes, regular meeting, April 25th, 2023. Policy votes: A, Kevin Fallon requests to use Pavilion A on June 10th from 11 to 5 for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. B, Nadia Serentinger requests to use Pavilion A on July 1st from 12 p.m. to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. C, Nadia Serentinger requests to use Pavilion A on July 16th from 12 to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. D, Hensieta Ricobino requests to use Pavilion A on July 22nd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a graduation party with alcoholic beverages being served. E, Waldwick Girl Scouts request to hold an end-of-year pool party at the Waldwick Pool on June 14th from 2 to 4 p.m. If the high school rain date, the Girl Scouts will be moved from 3 to 5 p.m. And the Tamaron Association requests permission to install a fence over an existing easement on Tamaron property. 2023-182, concurring with the Planning Board's redevelopment investigation findings regarding Block 114, lots 1, 7, 9, 11, 15, 16, 24, 25, and 26, Block 115, lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 26, and Block 116, lots 1, 4, 9, 16, 29, and 36, and designate them as an area in need of redevelopment for non-condemnation purposes. 2023-183, award a fair and open contract to J. Alexander for the 2023 road rehabilitation project in the amount of $342,716.19. 2023-184, award a fair and open contract to Fire and Safety Services Limited for procurement of a custom chassis 100-foot mid-mount ladder tower fire apparatus in the amount of $1,913,039.22. 2023-185, award a fair and open contract to Gentilini Motors for purchase of one emergency management vehicle in the amount of $55,880.04. 2023-186, award a non-fair and open contract to Koch 33 Ford for F-150 police responder vehicle in the amount of $43,478. 2023-187, award a non-fair and open professional service contract to Boswell Engineering for improvements to Bonnert Place in the amount of $35,000. 2023-188, award a non-fair and open professional service contract to Boswell Engineering for Brookview Park Bridge and Nature Trail in the amount of $44,500. 2023-189, award a non-fair and open professional service contract to Boswell Engineering for improvements to Hudson Avenue in the amount of $38,000. 2023-190, award a non-fair and open professional service contract to H2M for engineering and inspection services for water tanks in the amount of $64,400. 2023-191, authorized contract for lease, operate vegetative waste transfer station to Environmental Renewal LLC. 2023-192, authorize the borough auction. 2023-193, appointment of laborer one Stephen Kempinski 2023-194, appointment of the 2023 pool lifeguards, head swim coach, and assistant swim coach. 2023-195, approval of Chapter 159 for the Stormwater Assistance Grant in the amount of $25,000. 2023-196, tax overpayment variance, and 2023-197, payment of vouchers.
Do I have a motion and a second? Motion, Mr. Scalero, second by Mr. Ritchie. On the question, I first want to talk about 2023-182. What this is this is a redevelopment program that the town is going to start. It's not a non-condemnation. We're not taking anyone's houses away from them. What we did is we looked at certain areas in the town that need to be redeveloped. And what we did, we had a meeting on April 24th here for the planning board, in which myself and Councilman Schatz sit on the board, and we had residents come who live in these areas, and we had our planner here also, at which time the residents were very outspoken, and they, most of them, if not all of them, were in favor of doing this, as long as they know that their homes will not be taken away from them. And we emphasized that several times, that your home will not be taken away. So now it's coming to us so that we could vote on it, and then we'll continue the process. Anyone else? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just want to reiterate that, you know, there's a number of items on here that, for those of you who don't regularly attend our meetings, might look like, you know, we're making, you know, kind of spontaneous decisions to make these purchases. Most of these purchases have been vetted through many levels of processes. You know, we start with the budget process, where the staff and the department heads put the budget requests together, and then the mayor and council review them and make final decisions. Then the next step is we line up the funding to pay for the capital improvements or the funding to make the purchases, and then we have public hearings on those matters. And now these are the result of all that work. So most of these purchases either come from, or all of these purchases either come from competitive bidding, or the purchases are made off of purchasing lists, co-ops that we belong to. We belong to several, whichever benefit us. You know, sometimes we purchase vehicles through one co-op, sometimes we make purchases off the state contract, and sometimes we go to a national purchasing group. So again, none of this is new spending. This is money we've been talking about since January in many of these line items, and this is just more or less the final step to making the actual purchase. One other item, 2023-195, is a stormwater assistance grant that was not anticipated. So we're basically accepting this money. We'll put it in general revenue, and then we can decide how we want to use it related to stormwater improvements in the future.
Anyone else? Yes.
Thank you. I just want to say a few words about Resolution 2023-184. Just want to commend the fire department for their hard work in researching and selecting a tower ladder to replace our 2001 American LaFrance. With lead times 2 to 3 years out on fire trucks, it's the responsible time to purchase a new one. The Tower Ladder Committee worked tirelessly over the last year or so, creating a detailed list of requirements for the borough, meeting with 3 major manufacturers, of which myself and Patrick participated, and finally bringing the selection process to a close by meeting with the Fire and Police Protection Subcommittee a few weeks ago to present their research and analysis. In comparing the different trucks, it was clear that the Pierce meets the needs of the borough. Had a lot of highlights that I think we've talked about for some time now, but I'm proud of the work that went into this important decision, and I know that it's the right tower ladder that will ensure our fire department is properly equipped to keep our residents safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Clerk, take the roll.
Ms. Saracola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Scalero?
I have to abstain from the minutes. I was absent, and yes on the rest.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Okay. We have 2 public agendas here. Would the clerk kindly read ordinance number 2023-12?
Ordinance number 2023-12, an ordinance amending Chapter 48 fees, Section 98-87 zoning permits and 97-21.1 zoning certificate of compliance to amend fees in these sections and include additional fees.
Anyone from the council would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? This was discussed at our last meeting. What we are doing is we're just revising the fee structure. Everything stays the same. Nothing went up. Everything's just staying the way it is. Anyone else? I close the public's comments. I'm sorry, I close the council's comments and ask anybody from the public who would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read. If not, I close the public's comments, and I ask for a motion and a second to pass this ordinance on second reading and that the clerk be authorized to advertise it in local legal newspapers as required by law. Motion and a second. Motion by Paul, second by Michelle. Clerk, take the roll.
Ms. Sericola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance number 2023-13. Please read.
Ordinance number 2023-13, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2023-11, fixing the compensation, salaries, and wages of officials and employees of the Borough of Waldwick.
Anyone from the council would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? Once again, this was discussed at the last meeting. When we did our ordinances here, we eliminated the electrical sub-code worker and also our court clerk. So what we're doing is we're putting their salaries into the budget here. Anyone else? I close the council's comments. Anybody from the public would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? If not, I close the public's comments and ask for a motion and a second to pass this on second reading, that the clerk be authorized to advertise it in local legal newspapers as required by law. Motion by Don, second by Katie. Clerk, take the roll.
Ms. Sericola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Yes. Clerk, read Resolution 2023-198.
Authorize the salaries for 2023, and this is for the two positions that were not included in the last salary ordinance.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Don, second by Mike. We just discussed this, so we know what it's all about. Clerk, please take the roll.
Ms. Sericola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Okay. Any unfinished business from the council?
Mayor, if I may, in regards to the area need designation, I'll prepare a memo to the council to advise them what the next steps are, and we can discuss it at the next meeting so that everybody's aware of the next processes.
Great, thank you. Any other unfinished business? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to thank the Environmental Committee, the Beautification Committee, for their good work at the Earth Day on Saturday. And we're working on many more situations that we can apply for during now and then throughout the summer.
Thank you. Any other new business? All right, new business. I know you've been waiting, Matt.
I know there's nothing more exciting than talking about purchasing guidelines, so I'll do my best to keep it concise. I was informed last week by our CFO that the state recently passed legislation that no longer requires the governing body to pass resolutions for window contracts. Window contracts are contracts between $17,500 and $44,000, which is the bid threshold. Essentially, they're allowing the QPA, which I am for the borough, to write and manage these contracts without resolutions being passed. The benefit to this is there's oftentimes purchases we want to make, but we can't do it until a council meeting when a resolution gets passed. For example, the IT equipment. We didn't receive back the pay-to-play paperwork at the first meeting in April. The next day, they gave us the paperwork. We still had to wait 2 more weeks for the governing body to pass a resolution, and that's why Kelly's computer is still as it is. It'll be, by next meeting, it should be all done. So my recommendation would be for the council to allow myself as the QPA to authorize these contracts. Nothing changes in terms of myself collecting the paperwork. I'll have written records of every contract given out. The borough already tries to avoid some of this by doing open-ended contracts at the beginning of the year, but essentially it will allow some purchases to be made in an expedited manner, which would benefit the borough.
Everybody all right with that? No laptops in there, huh?
No,
I'm good. Anyone else on the new business? No new nobody? Okay. We will close now new business and public comments. Anybody from the public would like to comment, please come up to the microphone, state your name only for the record. We do not ask for your address anymore.
Good evening, Michael McHugh. As you remember, I've been working the past year and a half or 14 months with traffic studies in Bergen Ave, and found out today that our former administrator is former. And I was working with him, and I met with him and Lieutenant Seifert 2 months ago in the office here in the building, presented some papers, and he told me that they'd be working with the traffic study company to come up with some recommendations and have a public meeting. So I just want to make sure that's not falling through the cracks. I know there's a transition and things are probably falling, and do I talk to Kelly now about these things?
Nothing's fallen through the cracks. The business is still going on, even though we have an interim administrator. Kelly's been talking to the company, and she'll fill you in on what's going on.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so I've been talking to Thomas. He has been in India, so it's been very difficult to communicate with him with the time. So we are just trying to set up that meeting for the draft memo with the council committee. And so once we do that, then we will then have a public hearing once that is all finalized. So we will keep you in the loop in that
Okay. thanks. I'll
process.
shoot you an email. I think I have an email.
I
from
have,
you, so-
yes, I have your
so,
phone
okay.
number and your email.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yep,
Just
no
to-
problem.
Just to make sure, when I saw that, I just,
No, everything's still moving
my
along.
heart dropped a little bit. so-
Yeah, it's okay. Nope.
No, no problem. Thank you. Anyone else?
Stan Kowalski, the president of Walden Chamber of Commerce and the race director for the 5K. This past Sunday, we celebrated our 15th anniversary of the Walden 5K run, and I can't thank the mayor and the council for all the support you've given us for the past 15 years. It's just incredible working with everyone to make this such a successful event. Special thanks to Wolvac, Captain John Papendick, Marcus Rotowski from the DPW, Jeannie Paris from CERT, Officer Michael Sinclair, who I've worked with for the past 10 years on this. We had close to 600 people cross that finish line. It was a beautiful day. No injuries, and the town was sparkling. We raised over $3,000. We partnered with Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation for Pediatric Cancer in memory of Cole McKeon. And I want to congratulate Katie Siricola for placing first in her age bracket, and Don Solera for running. Anybody else up there that ran or walked? I don't know. It was just a wonderful day. I want to thank you, and hopefully we'll do it again next year. Tentative date is May 5th on Cinco de Mayo. So we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Ted Sanzo. Good evening, everybody. I'm disappointed Mrs. Sherman wasn't here because I did want to compliment her for mentioning Mrs. Andre that passed away at the last meeting. I thought it was very dignified and classy that she did it. Next subject. Behind the PD, by the dumpster, and I talked to Marcus a little bit about it today, there's one container for recycle, okay, which means it catches the glass, the cardboard, and everything. Maybe we can get 2 containers, one for the glass and the bottles, and the other one for the cardboard and paper. This way, it's sorted out, because in the past, when you had a mess there, everything went in the garbage. So I would think maybe you could have somebody take a peek out there, because you do have 2 very nice caged areas where the dumpster is now and the one recycled container. So maybe somebody would like to possibly consider that. Any progress on the water, the contamination problem? Any which way? I'm just looking for an update. Sure.
So the update is that we did not accept the bids on May the 4th. They're now going to be opened on Tuesday, May 16th. There was a challenge to the bid spec that required us to go for a new legal notice and for us to move the bid date. So it's going to be Tuesday the 16th. Once the bids are received, we still feel like we're on target to award May 23rd, provided that the NJDEP and the iBank approve the contract. So every step of the way, we keep hitting these obstacles of we take a step forward, now we have to wait. And we're waiting for the bureaucracy to approve it. So it's a little frustrating, I know, for the residents, and it's frustrating for us too, because we just want to get this done just like you do.
Right.
But we have to wait for them, we're required to. So that's really the update that we have now. We're still planning on awarding the contract at the May 23rd meeting. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, one other thing, from what I understand in talking with Patrick before he left, which I understand and respect, the town was the idea of joining with the state if they file a lawsuit in order to recoup the losses or the expenses. However, I do want to bring something to light, and that is on March 15th in 2015, Governor Christie Whitman and the DEP took $250 million instead of the $8.9 billion from Exxon. So I did a little math. I said, well, what did they get? They got 1/35 of what they asked for, which worked out to 2.8 cents on the dollar. Now, if we go after them for $5 million, we wind up, if we do the same thing, just keeping things in mind, we wind up with 140,000 out of $5 million. But we're still on the hook. You know, 140,000 sounds like money. We'll still be on the hook for $4,860,000. So what I'm saying is, you know, let's be careful. Don't just run down a cheap street. You may have to spend a dime to make a dollar. And if you're concerned about attorney fees, maybe the attorneys can get their fees covered in the lawsuit. Please. I'm also concerned that there may be medical consequences because of the contamination, okay, because it's been there for a long time. I am concerned also that the firefighters have been subjected to the foam. Okay, now, when you're spraying stuff around, God forbid somebody comes down with something terrible. I don't like it, and the longer this goes, is the more that can be, somebody can have ill effects from this. So we've already been at this for what, 2 years, maybe longer? I don't know. Now, I appreciate the $1.9 million for the fire truck, but somewhere, I would also like a similar investment in fire prevention. Okay? I would like money spent on fire prevention. Don't leave it up to the building department to make sure everybody's got smoke detectors. Maybe we can do something more, something to help people that doesn't cause a fire. So that's my soliloquy for this time. Thank you for listening, and please have a very great day.
You too, thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Anyone else? Not, I have to make a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mike, second by Katie, all those in favor?